Most people suck at meetings, and I guarantee you probably do one of these three things that is preventing you from landing clients easily. First and foremost, your communication style probably sucks. Now, most people, when they go into meetings, they're trying to actively listen and think at the same time. They're trying to come up with an answer or handle an objection they think that's going to come. But see, they don't do the simple thing of just listening. You need to listen to exactly what's happening in the meeting in real time. There's no problem with taking a little bit of time to formulate a response or even saying, I don't have an answer right now, but I'll come back to you, because it allows the conversation to keep flowing. Whereas if you try to objection handle and you try to come up with an answer while you're listening, you're basically preventing the free flow of the communication. Now, there are tools out there, and I'll put some in the description of this video. There's one that I use called Fathom that will AI record the entire meeting, transcript it, put together a to-do list. So I can focus purely on the conversation and let it free flow and push in the direction that it needs to go, while Fathom records in the background and then sends the AI summary to the client and to myself. It's a fail safe that I know if I miss something or I don't write it down or anything like that, it's got my back. It's constantly recording. Now, there's heaps of these tools out there that you can leverage to really focus on them being in the moment. You need to be present. You need to learn how to communicate properly. You need to know how to formulate questions in real time based on what they are saying, instead of trying to come up with a response while you're literally listening to what they're saying, because you're preventing it cascading. You're preventing the snowball effect of getting more information or learning more about the problem. You see, a lot of people don't know actually how to communicate, and there's different situations where different types of communication is important. But when you're in a meeting, it's very much so a give and take. You need to be listening to the problem while coming up with a solution, but you need to be actually genuinely listening, because in a lot of these meetings that I have with clients, there's a lot of scope discussed. There's a lot of background about the brand. And you see, if I'm sitting there trying to formulate my response or formulate my next question, then I miss the little subtle nuances, which are super important, that help me scope better, that help me increase profitability on a project because I've nailed every single part of the project. You see, when you're talking on these 45-minute long conversations, you're getting a background about the project, you're getting a background about the brand, the founder, everything. There's so many little details that are super important that you can just miss by not actually actively listening. And I've done every type of meeting you can think of, from having meetings with national sports teams to pitching ideas to board of directors with 5 or 6 people in the room, to one-on-one meetings, Zoom meetings, Google Meet, in person, different countries, from different industries. I've done every type of meeting. Now, you see, I've done a lot of meetings where I'm not in control of the meeting. I'm not the one who organized it, whether that be a software that we're looking into or a course that I can give to my team to help them upskill, or a networking opportunity. I've been in all types of meetings. And the key takeaway that I've learned from when I'm in a meeting that I've not organized is the worst meetings are when they try to control the flow, whether they try to do pre-qualifying questions or objection handle before I even finish a sentence. There's so many meetings I've come out of and been like, I am not working with them. I don't care how good their service is. I don't care how good their course is, or the networking opportunity, or the community, or whatever it is. I don't care how good it is, because they tried to control it and they've done it very transactional. I've genuinely come out of networking opportunities where they asked me for a $10,000 subscription a year to access their community and everything. And it had a lot of value, but the first question they asked me is, do I have money to spend on myself? A qualifying question like that before we even had a conversation, it made me think, this guy doesn't care about any of my answers. He's just satisfying a simple list of his questions to make sure that I fit his community, when in reality, it should be his community fitting me. I'm the customer. You don't want to ever control and force the narrative of the conversation, because if I came out of that meeting thinking that, as someone who has meetings every single day for years, clients are going to think the exact same thing. When you're dealing with all these different types of businesses, especially in the agency world, there is no formula. It needs to be a free-flowing conversation, because especially with the rise of AI, people want to deal with people. They don't want to deal with a structured meeting. I've come into meetings before and they've asked me 5 or 6 qualifying questions straight off the bat. They haven't even asked anything about me on a personal level. And when I have my meetings with clients, especially new clients, I make sure the start is always very personal, talking about them or what they did on the weekend. It helps build that human to human interaction instead of trying to control the flow. Because you see, when you're trying to control it, you're losing that snowball effect. You're basically satisfying every question you have, and then that's it. You're not building a relationship. It's very transactional, and a lot of clients don't like that. I've tried that when I first started my agency and tried to do qualifying questions and a questionnaire and everything, and it did not work. My success rate in landing clients plummeted. I'm talking plummeted because it's not natural. All these salespeople that you see on YouTube and they're doing these live sales calls or like land a client with me and they record the whole process. I guarantee you, majority of the time, they are fucking fake because I have never had a meeting that has followed that structure and actually been successful. People want to deal with people. And this is super important to remember that because at the end of the day, especially in the agency space, you are a problem solver. You are not selling a product. You are solving a problem for that client. So you need to approach the conversation in that way. People want people. It is as simple as that. Do not go into a meeting and try to objection handle. Do not go into a meeting and try to control the flow because I've experienced it and I'm an agency owner who deals with sales meetings often, landing clients often. And every time I've felt that structure and them trying to control the narrative in this situation, I come out of the meeting thinking I'm not working with them. I have never worked with a course seller or a digital product or another agency if they've tried to control the structure because I know it's very transactional. They don't care. They don't care about the business because they're not making the effort to get to know the person behind the business. So make sure you are always prioritizing communication and the connection that you have with that person. Build an actual personal connection. Let it flow freely. Personally, what I do is I ensure that our first meeting is a conversation. And then we have a form that we send through which has all the qualifying questions that we need to get the project started. That comes second. The communication, the conversation comes first. It's free flowing, and then the structure comes after the fact that the client wants to work with us. That's how I'm able to have a very, very high success rate when it comes to landing clients off a first meeting basis. And finally, I've been in meetings with other agency owners or contractors where they're trying to land a client, and I'll sit there and take notes because sometimes people don't back themselves. You need to back yourself. There is a reason you are in that room. There is a reason you're in that meeting. Whether you faked it till you make it to get to that point or you are very knowledgeable in your space. But regardless of how you got in that room, you got into the room. So the next step is backing yourself and making sure that you know what you're talking about. And if you don't, that's fine. Fake it till you make it, but make sure you can back it up with something, whether that be evidence or even a delay. If a client asks you a question, there is genuinely no harm in saying, I'll circle back to you there after the meeting. Let me look into that. Let me get my team to look into that. That way, you're not saying no straight away. One of the keys to me growing my agency so quickly and getting such large clients across a diverse set of industries was never saying no. We say yes to everything. Even if I don't know how to do it in the moment, it's still a yes, and then we solve the problem later. Because that's what you are. You're a problem solver. And I know that I got into that room because I am very good at what I do. And at the start, I wasn't. I faked it till I made it. But that's okay because I backed myself in the meeting. When you're in that meeting, you are the world's best website designer. In that meeting, you are the world's best salesperson or the best e-com person or the best drop shipping expert. No matter what you are, in that meeting, you are the best, and you need to back yourself and think that way. Because if you think that way, you act that way, and that's the impression that you give them. So you need to back yourself. You need to know that you have the answer, and if you don't, you can provide it later. There is genuinely nothing worse than going into a meeting or watching someone try and land a client, and they're nervous, or they're unsure about an answer, or they say no, or I don't know. You can never say, I don't know. Because it instantly ruins your credibility. You're in that meeting because they think you're good at what you do. The moment you say, I don't know, it's a little bit embarrassing because you're admitting defeat. You're admitting that you don't know. And then it makes them question if you're able to do every single thing else in that project. And that's very important when you're having meetings with clients that are $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 projects. They need to have unwavering belief that you can deliver. And it's okay if you can't, because you can make time. You can circle back. You can work late, everything. But that first meeting that you're having with that client, whether it's your first or even your third or your fifth, they need to always know that you have unwavering confidence in your own abilities, because then they have that confidence in you. And if you do one of these three things, that's okay. Now you're aware of it. To recap, you need to back yourself. You need to focus on communication, and you need to let the meeting flow naturally. You cannot structure it, because structuring ruins the human element of it. Backing yourself. If you do not back yourself, it ruins the confidence they have in you, which makes it a lot harder to sell yourself or sell your service. And thirdly, your communication. People want to speak to people. You need to be actively listening so that they know that you are there listening to every single nuance of their problem, because then you can solve those singular nuances in a very detailed way. So make sure the next meeting you go into, you don't pre-formulate your answers. You don't try and force a structure. Think of it as you're speaking to a friend, a natural, free-flowing conversation. There's heaps of AI tools that you can use to transcribe it and make notes. I don't even make notes anymore in my meetings. I am purely focused on being present in that meeting, being the best at what I do in that meeting, and just talking to them naturally like a conversation. Let me know if you have any feedback or any struggle points, and I'm more than happy to break it down and help you evaluate your performance in these meetings. But if you do these three things well, you don't make these simple mistakes that a lot of people do, your success rate in landing clients will go through the roof. I personally would have around a 90% success rate when I have a meeting, because I don't pre-qualify. It's just a conversation, and I don't view it in any other way. That's the problem. People get nervous. They think it's important. And while it is important, at the end of the day, sometimes it's just a conversation, and you just need to think of it that way. Now that you're aware of these three simple problems that people make, you can make sure that you course correct and avoid repeating these problems, because I guarantee you, your clients will notice these. It's so important that you have a client has unwavering faith, unwavering confidence. It's all about how you present yourself. It's all about how you communicate. So as I said, if you have any questions or feedback, leave a comment below. I'll respond in detail and help you build a better communication style, help you land clients easier. Again, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe and like, and I'll see you in the next video.